Matt, thanks very much for joining us this afternoon. First of all, how are you and how has it been being back in full training?
We're all good. We're all good. It's been great being back in. I think, like you say, the lads have been chomping at the bit to get back to some sort of normality, albeit like a new normal. But it's been great. Lads have all come back flying fit. Everyone's stuck to sort of the isolation programs we had. So we're all raring to go, really, starting Saturday.
I was going to say, in terms of fitness and your fitness programs and keeping fit, I imagine you had to be ready to come back into training at any point, knowing that the season could resume at any time. Did you have fitness plans to follow? Were people keeping tabs on you?
Yeah. No, we were really well monitored. We had sort of GPS units that we went away with, and we're sort of given on a week by week basis every Sunday. We're sort of given our outline for the week and various runs and Zoom strength exercises we need to do. I think all of the lads stuck to it. So no, I think much more than anything, it was a bit of routine. I think we're all creatures of routine, aren't we? So to lose that in the lockdown, I think the program supplemented well for that. And like I said, we were kept busy, so it was hard. And I think as well, doing it by yourself is something that you're not quite used to. You're obviously used to that interaction every day. But it certainly kept me going, and I was glad I had that element to it.
In terms of the lockdown, obviously I've spoken to a few people and they've talked about routine and how important that has been for them to, one, keep on top of their fitness, but also for their mental health every day as well, having some sort of routine. How important was that for you?
It was really important. I think, myself, like a lot of others, we are creatures of habit, creatures of routine. So to have that sort of structure to your day, I was able to sort of maintain a nice little balance between obviously getting up and doing the bits that I was asked to do. And it does give you that sense of purpose that you may be missing for such a long period of time. And like you say, keep the weight off you, keep yourself fit and keep yourself ticking over, which I think we're all able to do, because like I said, we all came back in great shape.
And just on the last couple of weeks that you've been back in training, how different has it been compared to normal? Because we've been without football for a few months now. Do you almost feel like you're cramming a whole pre-season into just 2 weeks ready for the restart? Has it been tough?
It has been tough, but I think it's been modified to a degree, in the sense that we have been keeping a lot more to it over the past few months than we would have done in an off season. I think in any off season, I'm used to sort of like 2 weeks of totally switching off. You probably eat and drink a lot more than you would do in that 10-month block. So I think we've been a lot more disciplined, a lot more structured in these past few months than you would do in an off season. So I think we have come back significantly further along the sort of pre-season timeline, as you were. So in that sense, I think we are further along fitness-wise than we would have been coming back for pre-season. That said, it's been longer than an off season. Do you know what I mean? To have that sort of 8 weeks of not being in it, it's longer than the usual 6. So I think the coaches have struck a real balance between all of that. And like I said, the training's been tough, but I feel like I've come back in a lot better nick, and sort of feel like I'm in a better shape than what I would have normally done.
So in terms of where Millwall were when the season was stopped, and of course where you still are now, you're just a couple of points outside the playoffs. How did you feel the team were doing form-wise before the break?
We're doing brilliantly. Like I said, we had a really positive result away at the City Ground. I think we'd drawn with Bristol the week before, so we were in good form. And obviously the stop probably came at a bad time in that regard for us. So we're literally just looking to kick on where we left off, really. It's going to be a strange scenario, I think, particularly playing behind closed doors. Our home form has been really, really good this season, probably a testament to the fans and the atmosphere we create at the Den. We're not going to have that. So we're going to have to, really step up as a group of players and make sure we give it all for the last 9 games. Because like I said, we're only 2 points off it. We've got so much to play for. We're all very excited at the prospect.
I was going to say, just touching on something that you said there, obviously Millwall and the Den is very well known for its atmosphere and the fan base. How strange will it be without the fans in the ground? And have you done anything differently to prepare for that? Because it will be so different, won't it?
Yeah, it's going to be so different, like you say. I mean, We've had a couple of practice games the past couple of weeks. We've played amongst ourselves. We played Colchester on Saturday, and we've tried using artificial crowd noise during those games, which I was a huge skeptic at the start when they started suggesting. I was like, no way, that's going to be terrible. Like, what a bad idea.
I was going to say, what was that like?
But to be honest, it was really good. It was significant for me anyway. I guess it's, everyone's opinion. I found it a lot better than no noise. I felt it added something, and I think people who particularly watch the German leagues, the Bundesliga, they've obviously had it broadcasted there, and for me, I thought it was a plus. So I think they took a 5-minute loop of a recording they'd had of the Den, so you get a few chants and a bit of like just general noise. And I think because it's on a loop, you don't really realise it's on a loop. It's just sustained noise, and I think, like I said, it gives a little bit of atmosphere. Obviously, it's not like the real thing, but certainly better than silence, which you kind of does feel a bit like a training game. So we've tried with that. I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not asked a question of whether or not we're going to be allowed to obviously have that in the game. Whether we do or not remains to be seen. But if we do, then great, because I think it does give a little bit to the players and a bit more normality, if that makes sense.
And just going back to what you were saying before, obviously your last game before the break was one to remember as well, wasn't it? You scored a hat-trick against Forest last time out. It must seem like a lifetime ago, but from a personal perspective, how were you feeling personally with your own form before the break?
I mean, yeah, it does feel like a lifetime ago now, to be honest. That was such a long time, that Forest game. But I mean, like I said, I feel confident. I feel fit. I've kept myself in good condition for the past couple of months. I'm really raring to go again. I think the confidence I would have got from that game might have worn off by now, but let's hope that's not the case, and I can come out all guns blazing against Derby. But yeah, like I said, it's a break of time. We've had an opportunity to sort of regroup, reassess, and everyone's going to have to be chomping at the bit, because I've said before, I think it's going to be a real case of survival of the fittest for the last 9 games. I think the volume is going to be totally unprecedented. Obviously, we're used to midweek games in the Championship, but to have a month of Saturday midweek, it's going to be really intense. And I think the group that can stay fittest, rotate the squad the best, because no one's going to be able to play every minute of every game, or very few lads, I would have thought. So I really do think it'll be a case of survival of the fittest, and hopefully, we've got a really, really fit bunch of lads. Hopefully, we can all stay touch wood, injury free, and give a good account of ourselves the last 9 games.
And you said in a recent interview, I think with Sky Sports, it was that you think you're going into the final 9 games as underdogs when it comes to reaching the playoffs. You're only a couple of points outside. Is that a title that you'd prefer to have going into these final few games? Is that something that's discussed within the squad?
Yeah, I think it's a weapon. We don't have that weight of expectation on our shoulders from the external aspect. Obviously internally we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to do well and succeed and meet the standards that we've sort of set thus far. But I think certainly when that sort of pressure's off you, you do have that sort of underdog mentality, which can take you far. I don't think from the outside looking in, anyone sort of expected us to be in the position we're in. It's obviously a testament to the group, but also to the manager for doing such a great job. But like I said, hopefully we can use that to our advantage.
I was going to say, I know you only joined in the summer, but so last season you finished just one place above the relegation zone. When you look at then and you look at where the side are now currently, does that make this season's achievement even greater?
Yeah, I certainly think so. If you look at the season before that, Millwall were unlucky to miss out on the playoffs, so just fell marginally short. So I think a lot of that squad is still here and remember that moment particularly well. So I think they don't want to fall at the same hurdle this season. I think we want to try and go the extra mile and sneak in that top 6.
And just in terms of the manager as well, Gary Rowett obviously came in October 2019. How has he changed things since he came in?
I think he's been a revelation. He's been absolutely fantastic for us and really taken on from the sort of remarkable work that obviously Neil Harris had done for 4+ years. He's been brilliant. I've really, really enjoyed working with him. I think our form has been top 2 form from when he's taken over. So that's a testament to his skill set and what he's brought to us. But I think he's brought a new, certainly a cutting tactical side to our game. Everything that he sort of sets out in the week, he delivers a number of like real clear messages that I know sounds pretty simple, but for us it works. And I think everything that he sort of maps out in a week tends to materialize in a game, and 9 times out of 10 we've had success with it. So it's and added to that, he's a great people person, just a good guy. So I think all the lads are really singing off his hymn sheet, and hopefully that can continue. And like I said, the form that he's brought to us, hopefully that can continue into these last 9 games, because they're going to be tough.
You're only 2 points outside the playoffs, and in your last game you beat Nottingham Forest, who are obviously pushing for automatic promotion. You win a couple of games and you could be up to 5th or 6th, or you lose a couple of games and you're suddenly in the bottom half. It's such an unpredictable league. You've got to go into it expecting the unexpected, haven't you?
100%. I think that's why it's one of the most exciting leagues to watch, because it is so unpredictable. Bottom can beat top on any given day, and I think that's why everyone loves it so much. We really understand how a couple of results can fire you up the league, and likewise you can really slip it. It can be a slippery slope, if you go a couple of weeks with no points on the board. So we're aware of that, and we know we have to treat every game as a cup final, as cliche as that is. And I think it will be interesting, that I think particularly behind closed doors, no fans, what that is going to bring to certain teams, what it might take away from certain teams, I think will be an interesting watch. So for us, we've just got to focus on treating it as it is. It's totally unprecedented, totally new for everyone. We're all, we're all doing the same thing. So, everyone's on the level pegging in that respect. So we just need to focus on ourselves and turn in as best a 9 performance as we can.
And I know we've just said there, how competitive the championship it is and how crazy it is. Anyone can beat anyone. I know there are no easy games, and you will obviously not say that, but having looked at the fixture list, a lot of the sides that you've got to play are below you in the table. Do you think that gives you an opportunity, say, to try and get into that final playoff spot?
I think it's an easy one to say. If you do look at the sort of our run-in, they're all teams that are below us, which, on paper, in theory, you'd think great, but we all know that the championship doesn't work like that. And our Achilles heel probably has been taking points off the teams lower down the division. We've had some great results. If you look at the top teams, we've picked up points at Bristol, we picked up points Preston, Leeds, Forest. We drew to West Brom, Fulham. Like, we picked up points against all the top sides, but we have had some bad results against lower teams lower down the division, which we're going to have to make sure isn't the case going to these last 9. And like you say, like we discussed, it's just such an unpredictable league, and to take your eye off the ball or to think you're going in with an easy game is pretty foolish in my estimation, because like you say, it's a division full of talent, and every team's got its strengths. And if you're not mentally prepared, or if you go in a bit complacent, then you could struggle.
In terms of the final 9 games then, you mentioned earlier it's almost going to be sort of survival of the fittest, but how do you approach them? It's fair to say that any form before the break goes out the window because you've gone so long without playing competitively. So how do you approach each game?
I think as you would any other. I think obviously what's going to be key is recovery. So I think we've got some great, sports scientists who are going to make sure that all our recovery measures are as best as they can be, because I think the ability to go from one game to the next is going to be crucial. It's such a short turnaround, in a couple of days, your body's going to have to really recover and get ready to go again. So I think everything that we implement from on the training ground is going to be as important as turning it on a match day, because like I said, it's such a short turnaround from game to game that mentally, physically, we're just going to be have to be at it. So it's going to be really interesting. I think everyone's intrigued to see how it pans out. Like I said, particularly the no crowd, it is different. I've only had small experiences, obviously, with the practice games we've had so far, and it definitely is different. And I think, like you say, it will suit certain teams, maybe even suit certain players. it's gonna be an interesting watch.
And so obviously it all starts this weekend against Derby County. It'll no doubt be different, but just how much are you looking forward to getting back out on a football pitch again?
Really looking forward to it. I had like a spring in my step for that friendly the other day. I think when you go that long without a game, I think everyone is in the same boat. They just want to get back playing. I know particularly in our group, everyone was saying the same things. A bit bored of the lockdown period, just ready to get going again. So now it's safe to do so. I think everyone's just, like I say, very, very excited and gonna give it everything.